What are the 4 Carnival Cruise Line ships that cruise in Australia? And what makes them all so different from the rest of the Carnival fleet?
Let's start today with the Carnival Splendor, which is the only ship that's operating in Australia that was actually built for Carnival Cruise Line. This is a Concordia class cruise ship, and she's the only Carnival Cruise Line ship of the Concordia class. The Concordia class is a derivative of the Destiny class of cruise ships, which was first introduced all the way back in 1996. And it's called the Concordia class because it was a derivative created for Costa Cruises, and the first ship in that class was the Costa Concordia. Yes, that Costa Concordia. But Carnival Splendor was actually built for Carnival Cruise Line, and she entered service with them in 2008. The ship cost $697 million to build and was constructed by Fincantieri in Italy. Her maiden voyage in July of 2008 saw her as the largest member of the Carnival Cruise Line fleet, a title that she held until she was eclipsed a year later by the Carnival Dream. The ship has a gross tonnage of 113,323, making her a relatively large ship, and she has a length of 950 feet or 290 meters. Her interior is full Carnival Joe Farcus style. Joe Farcus was a designer who had a lot of sway over the interior designs of Carnival Cruise Line ships from the origins of Carnival Cruise Line right the way through to the early 2000s. This style of architecture is known as entertainment architecture and is designed to make the interior of the ship feel like a magical world and be part of the onboard entertainment. So you're not just waiting for the crew staff to entertain you, but the ship's interior should entertain you at the same time. Having toured Carnival Splendor in 2024, I can say that the interior certainly is different and does make you feel like you've stepped into another world, perhaps some sort of magical dreamland. And they do this to great effect. And many people love it, some people hate it, but it definitely has its own onboard style that can't really be replicated anywhere else. Carnival Splendor operates cruises out of Sydney year-round. Carnival Adventure and Carnival Encounter date back to Princess Cruises and were designed before Carnival Corporation even owned P&O Princess. The first of the two to enter service was the Carnival Adventure, which was first put into service with Princess Cruises as Golden Princess in 2001 and sailed with them until 2021. Her sister ship, the Carnival Encounter, entered service in 2002 and was named the Star Princess. Both of these ships were also built at Fincantieri at their Monfalcone yard near Venice. These two ships had a build cost of around about $425 million and are Grand Class cruise ships, so on the outside are unmistakably designed by Princess Cruises. Some of their design features includes the bridge structure at the front of the ship that's held up by 2 large pylons, which is sort of similar to what you find at the forward end of the Sun Princess, the newest ship to enter Princess Cruises service. They also have a full wraparound promenade that extends all the way to the bow, and a raised nightclub at the stern of the ship, which gives them the unfortunate nickname of the shopping cart. Can you see it? These two ships sailed with Princess Cruises for most of their career, and undertook cruising out of the Caribbean into the Mediterranean and also global cruises, including world cruises, with Golden Princess even visiting Australia. However, during the global cruise shutdown, these two ships were also laid up, just like all the others. And when they returned to service, they'd been transferred to P&O Cruises Australia. Their entry into service saw them sail alongside the only other ship of the P&O Cruises Australia fleet at the time, and that was the Pacific Explorer. And these 3 ships made up the Australian-based fleet of P&O Cruises Australia until the announcement was made that P&O Cruises Australia would be shut down. When Carnival Cruise Line announced that it would absorb P&O Cruises Australia into its fleet in 2025, these 2 ships were flagged to be transferred across to Carnival Cruise Line. Their interiors remain mainly unchanged, with some Carnival additions made to the ships to bring them into line with the rest of the Carnival Cruise Line fleet. This includes the addition of the Fun Squad on board, the Carnival Entertainment Team, as well as some of the Carnival activities such as Build-A-Bear, and the addition of some of the Carnival services such as free pizza throughout the day and fundraising for local children's hospitals. The next ship we'll look at is the Carnival Luminosa, which is based out of Brisbane and comes to Australia seasonally during the Australian summer months or the northern winter. This ship was also built at Fincantieri, and she entered service in 2009, but not for Carnival Cruise Line. She was actually originally built for Costa Cruise Line and was known as the Costa Luminosa, and she was one of 2 ships that were built for them based on the Vista class of cruise ships from Holland America, with some Spirit class cruise ships features added in, so they call this a hybrid design. Her sister ship was the Costa Deliciosa, which still operates for Costa Cruises to this day, and both ships are around about 92,700 gross tons each and 958 feet long, or 292 meters, so smaller ships but slightly longer than the Carnival Splendor. Costa Luminosa sailed for Costa Cruises from 2009 all the way through to the global cruise shutdown, when she was laid up like the rest of the global cruising fleet. Following the reactivation, she did enter service once again for Costa Cruises, but after a short period she was transferred across to Carnival Cruise Line, as Carnival was experiencing a surge in demand post-pandemic, having retired many of their fantasy-class cruise ships during the shutdown. At the same time, Costa was experiencing a lull in demand, and so it made sense to transfer the ship across to Carnival. Now, this ship was given a refurbishment, though her interior still looks like a Costa Cruise Line ship in many respects, which makes her a unique ship within the Carnival Cruise Line fleet. Exterior-wise, she was given the Carnival livery on her hull, but she does stand out because she doesn't have the whale tail funnel. This is an iconic design feature that Carnival first introduced on board the Tropicale all the way back in the 1980s, and Carnival Luminosa was the first ship to not feature this in the Carnival Cruise Line fleet since the company retired the festival. Rather, instead of a whale tail, you'll see the Costa Cruise Line funnel painted in the Carnival Cruise Line colours. The ship officially became a Carnival Cruise Line ship in September of 2022 and has been sailing in the Australian market seasonally ever since. So what do you think of the 4 ships of the Carnival Cruise Line fleet in Australia? Would you sail on any of them? And of the 4, which would you like to sail on the most? Let us know which one you'd like to travel on in the comments below. A huge thank you as always to our fantastic channel members. Your support is what helps make these videos possible. You can join the crew and see your name appear on future videos by following the links in the description below. For even more interesting maritime history, don't forget to check out my Substack, The Maritime Historian, full of exclusive articles. And of course, every week, Anthony Davis and myself bring you the Expert Cruise Show, full of cruise news, tips and tricks on how to get the best out of your cruise. Thanks once again, and until next time, I hope to see you on board. This video is brought to you by me and my new book, The Evolution of the Passenger Ship. In The Evolution of the Passenger Ship, we've brought years of research together to create a book that takes you on a journey from the earliest sailing ships right the way through to the modern behemoths that we see today. The Evolution of the Passenger Ship is available at all good bookshops, and if you buy a copy, you help us by supporting the channel.